Good evening, everybody. The City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas will meet in a regular meeting in City Hall Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas on Tuesday, July 27th at 6:30 p.m. If you'd please stand for the invocation. Dear Lord, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help as we gather here today. We pray for guidance in all matters at hand and ask for your help to show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to work towards excellence. We ask this in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started tonight, I'd like to make a short announcement. Helping Our Heroes Project, which is an organization that works with some of our more desperately needs of our veterans, is hosting an event at Lowe's this weekend on July 30th between 10 and 3 o'clock. There'll be a lot of different things there for sale: military caps, patriotic caps, flags, knives, a lot of merchandise from other vendors as well, and they'll be doing a raffle for a reproduction of a $1,600 1874 rifle valued at $1,600. So if you're out and running around town on Saturday, drop by Lowe's and see if you can help out some of the veterans that need it the most. It'd be greatly appreciated. Roll call from my right, please.
Foster here.
Mullins here.
LaRue here.
Evans here.
Yaw's here. We have a quorum. Citizen comments, limited to 3 minutes. Purpose of this item is to allow citizens an opportunity to address the City Council on items that are listed on the agenda or issues that are not listed on the agenda. Any person desiring to make a public comment must first be recognized by the presiding officer and sign in at the podium with their name and address at least 10 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Individual citizens' comments are limited to 3 minutes. The presiding officer may ask the citizen to hold their comment on an agenda item until the agenda item is reached. The City Council has no obligation to respond in any manner to comments or questions from the public. Any response from a member of the City Council to non-agenda comments is limited to a statement of specific factual information, a recital of existing policy, or direction to the staff for follow-up. I do have a couple citizen comments today. Ms. Cassie Day.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're back. Thanks largely to your generosity, we had a successful 2021 quilt show, and we are making plans for April of 2022. Generally, we come to you later in the year with our hat in our hand asking for money, but as the years go by, we get slower. And so we backed the process up to earlier in the year and to try and make the most of our resources. Our attendance in 2021 was about 450, which quite frankly was better than we expected because of all of the uncertainty and the limited advertising that we were able to do. But we had some wonderful quilts, and we had a really good time. The theme for the 2022 show is Spirit of Texas. We have a beautiful hand-embroidered quilt that we will be raffling, and hope that you guys will be able to help us as you have in the past. We are a 501c3, so what money that we make off of raffling that quilt goes to local charities. They pretty much fall in 3 categories: first responders, kids, and animals. We make monetary donations where we can. We prefer to make quilts for folks such as the Special Olympics or Friends of the Animals, because we can take a limited financial donation and with some creativity and volunteer hours, turn that into a quilt that they can raffle for significantly more money than what we would be able to financially donate to them. We do make small quilts for places like Maggie's House and directly for the children, and it's some of our favorite things to do. But we make larger quilts primarily for some of our local charities to help them raise money as well. We have historically, I just totally lost my train of thought.
Well, you're running short on time anyway, so.
Okay, all right. Well, again, we have moved back to Gun Barrel City. It's where we want to stay. Cecil has been very good to us and gives us a break on what he charges us, and is very generous with lead-up time and all of those things. But in order to make it happen, we need help.
Thank you.
Questions? No?
Nope, can't do that. Thank you, Ms. Day. I would say that you would probably want to contact the city secretary when you're ready to put it on the agenda for us to consider assisting. So you'll need to give her a call and have her put that on the agenda. Mr. Brunson, I've got you down that you wanted to talk on item, I believe it's 6C. Do you want to wait till then to talk? Okay, that'll be great. All right, item number 1, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Consider approving the following reports. City Manager Report, May 25th, 2021 meeting minutes, June 6th, 2021 meeting minutes, June 2021 City Financials, Court Report, Code Enforcement, Permits and Inspection, Fire Report, Police, Dispatch, and Animal Control, Streets and Park Maintenance Report, EDC Minutes, EDC Financials. May I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion? No discussion. Vote from my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Charles, yes.
Old business, discuss and/or take action to accept a report regarding EDC board members. Council, we've suspended a couple of board members a while back, and for Mr. LaRue and I to do a investigation. About the only thing I can really report to you is that we put out 4 public information requests some time ago. 2 were responded to by the executive director and the president of the EDC. The other 2, one was not responded to, but however, that board member, Ms. Susan Ball, has resigned from the EDC. And the other, we received a response that there was nothing to submit for the open record request. Having gone through the other 2 emails and information that we received from them, there was plenty of evidence to show that there was things that should have been provided. And so, as you've seen the document in your packet, we had the IT consultant go ahead and change the password and pull the emails from one of those. There was emails in both of them. And then on the one from the Ms. Ball, who had resigned, there was an email there that she responded to the president of the EDC within 4 minutes of receiving the first request that she wasn't going to do it. And she didn't. So that's what I have to report at this point in time. Mr. LaRue, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I don't.
Okay. My concern, council, is state law requires for open records to be responded to faithfully. The Open Records, Public Information Act in 2019 changed the law a little bit. And what's going on here to some degree is, I know one member who said he didn't have anything has set up his private email to receive everything that's sent to his GBC EDC email, and then evidently responds from that. I don't know that he responds from it, but there was no response from the 600 emails that were in his file. The law changed in 2019 that if you use your personal email, that you have to provide, in this case, the executive director to the EDC, with any emails that you send or receive in your personal email that have to do with EDC business. You as council people would have to send it to the city secretary. If you use your personal emails instead of using your Gun Barrel City email, and I'm hoping nobody's doing that, but if you do, under the state laws of Texas, you have to provide that to the city secretary so that she can fulfill open records requests as they come in. So I have a great deal of concern that we have board members that are willing to ignore state laws. Any questions, comments?
I have a comment, Mr. Mayor. I'm reflecting back that some members of the EDC board, which as individuals, I think a bunch of good people, but at the same time, I'm very frustrated with comments, and I've alliterated them in various meetings in the past, comments that have been made by individuals within the EDC board suggesting that there was potentially up to criminal activity taking place, but repeated requests, can you show me anything that would suggest, prove, give us a reason to look. And each time I was promised something to come that never came. And then specific comments made suggestive that things were going on behind the scenes that might even imply Open Meetings Act violations happening here. Ask for the same question. Show me anything that suggests this. Show me anything that leads you to make that statement. Again, nothing. And now that we've made a request from them, some of these same individuals, to support their claims, their pledge of transparency is met with obfuscation and absolutely nothing was turned in at all. I'm a little bit concerned. That's a bit hypocritical to accuse people of things and then later on, when you're asked to back it up, duck and hide. Disappointed, I guess, is the best words I can put out for it. I believe that all of us have a responsibility to the public. I'll show any email anybody wants to see any day. I took the same training that they took when they became a member of the board. We all take the same training that the state provides that leaves no question, no unclearness whatsoever about what is required. And again, just to make the point, and then I'll move on, to receive nothing in response to me is just, to say it lacks the transparency that these members accused others of not showing is a bit hypocritical. But number two, to know that having gone through some of those emails that they could have turned in that they chose not to and said there weren't any, I'm not going to make any accusations. I'll just let the investigation play out however the individuals involved in it see as best fit, but I'm disappointed to say the least.
Hey, I left off one detail if you're finished.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I left off one detail that I did want to provide you all with. I had the administrative assistant for the EDC pull up a list of items that have been tabled by the EDC for the year, and it came out to 23 items in 7 months have been tabled. 20 of those items in the last 30 days have been tabled. And now I hear a lot that that's because of the budget amendment that was having difficulty getting through, that was tabled. The year before they did 9 budget amendments, they didn't table any of them. You know, it appears to me like there's an effort because of, and I firmly believe this is a conflict that deals with the structure of the EDC and how we have structured it so that the director works for the city council and manages the EDC, and the board is the board. They still make the decisions on projects and programs. But they're not involved in the day-to-day business. And I think this is just a direct reflection of their dislike for how council has done this. They have asked for direction. We've given them direction. They still don't follow that direction. So some of them do, some of them don't. They're not all. I shouldn't say they don't. There's the ones that we're talking about here have refused to follow the job descriptions that we have approved for them, and that's discerning. So that is where we're at. I'm trying to figure out what our next move is. I'm going to keep it open.
May I have a comment?
Certainly.
I'd like to say that I thought that the purpose of this investigation was that because these two former members of the board or current members of the board or treasurer and past treasurer of the organization were impeding the economic development progress of the city of Gun Barrel, and I don't think that's the case at all. These people are simply asking hard questions about where's the money going and why, and we still don't know to this day a lot of the answer to those questions. I'll leave it at that, but it's regrettable that two people of this quality were put through this kind of a ringer when they were strictly volunteers. They certainly not, when they were taking off this board, they're not taking a cut in pay. What happened? So I think openness and transparency was important. It's one of the few levers that the board has under the current structure. And to have treated these people the way that they're treated, I think is totally unprofessional by the EDC and this city council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foster.
Well, I've got something to say.
Go ahead.
I worked at the EDC for 15 years with numerous board members, and I have never seen them treated with such disrespect as this council has allowed. I've never seen the EDC ran like it is today. I'm really disappointed, and we ask citizens to volunteer, then we cut them down, cut them up if they don't stop, drop, and roll on what you want. And I don't have anything to accept with this report. I know there's Open Meetings Act, and I know you need to abide by them, but I'm just very disappointed in the way they've been treated, and they're citizens that just wanted to help. And I think that lacked a lot of guidance. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Evans.
Mr. Mayor, may I make another comment?
Certainly.
Just to the point of the comment that was made, suggestive that there's money have been expended that hasn't been accounted for. We've had every type of audit that a law requires. Each one has yielded the same results. Every project that has been funded or approved or in any way, shape, or form utilized any funds of any type of public money was voted on by this board for them or anyone related to that board to make the comment or make an allegation that any unaccounting or any lack of accounting of any funds exists is completely false. There's not one dime been spent that wasn't approved by the board, not one.
And I would also add to that, Mr. Yalls, is that every single check is signed by two board members. The executive director does not have any spending authority other than what has been approved in the budget that she might put on a credit card for office supplies and things of that nature.
And those were reviewed as well, and there was absolutely nothing inappropriate found.
The audit came through clean. Again, it's more, I think, board putting people in a position to fail when you put someone in charge of the treasurer who's never, admittedly to me, never balanced a checkbook, and then you put them in charge of treasurer of a $2 million organization. That's irresponsible. And then it just went south from there and has continued to go south. So we'll continue with this investigation, and we'll come back between now and the August meeting or at the August meeting and try to finalize it. Hopefully we'll be able to convince some folks to turn in their emails so that we can find out exactly where their problems are. But when I agree with you, Mr. Yalls, when you tell me there's problems but you won't show them to me, then I tend to think there's not any. So item 3A, excuse me, okay. Item 3A, discuss and/or take action to approve the revised operator level 1 job description. Council, the level 1 job description, the city manager, and I apologize, he's not here tonight. He's on vacation, a well-earned vacation. The operator level 1 job description, he would like to add a requirement that they have a CDL, excuse me, commercial driver's license. Right now, we have 3 people that have a CDL, and it makes it, one of them is the street superintendent. He's the one who ends up having to drive the truck that's pulling the trailer that requires the CDL. And it becomes increasingly difficult for him to be 6 places at one time. He can do 5, but he can't do 6. Anyway, what they're looking for is to change operator 1 so that person needs to get a CDL within 6 months during that probationary period. Any questions or discussions or problems with that?
And this request came from the city manager?
Yes, it did.
Is there any, I don't know what the right word is, clause for if a person is required to get it within 6 months who doesn't?
Yes, there would be, and I would think it would be, he would not be at operator 1 level. He'd go back to operator 2 or be moved to a different operator level.
Thank you.
Anything further? May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the revised operator level 1 job description.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And vote for my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
Item 3B, discuss and/or take action to purchase a new animal control vehicle and pay the difference of insurance funds not to exceed $15,000. As y'all know, our animal control officer was in an accident, wasn't his fault, totaled the truck. It's a 2008 Ford. We were hoping to get around $7,000 for it. We learned today, I believe it's going to be more like $6,600, but we're still believing that we can replace the vehicle for around $20,000. So the city manager is asking for an additional $15,000 out of this year's budget to purchase a new vehicle for the animal control. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to take action to purchase a new animal control vehicle and pay the difference of insurance funds not to exceed $15,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, vote for my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
3C, discuss and/or take action to purchase L3 Harris Symphony radio consoles to include hardware, software, engineering services, training, and installation from the city's reserve fund in the amount of $87,785.83. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like a motion to discuss and/or take action to consider, discuss and/or take action to purchase L3 Harris Symphony radio console to include hardware, software, engineering service, training, and installation from the city's reserve fund in the amount of $87,785.83.
LaRue, second.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. We've discussed this. We heard a presentation from Harris Radio at our workshop the other day. Hopefully y'all got your questions answered then, because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to answer too many of them. But if you have any, I'm welcome to hear them. So, any discussion?
I would just want to share to anybody in the public who's, questioning what we're spending this kind of money on. We are getting federal grant money or federal money to help support this expense as well. This is the portion that's not covered, and this system would essentially bring the city of Gun Barrel's emergency services communication into 2021. Right now, I believe we're somewhere in the 1980s. And as we've heard from our police chief and our fire chief, our ability to communicate in an emergency is just not, we've been fortunate that we have such incredible professionals that we depend on who have always found a way. And we feel like that the city needs this to progress forward and to keep people safe. And this is an incredible price considering what we knew this was going to cost 2 years ago when we first started discussing it. So we waited a while, and sure enough, that paid off.
Absolutely. Further discussion?
No.
Vote from my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
Item 3D, discuss and/or take action to consider adopting resolution number R 2021-024, authorizing an application for a local park grant. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel, City of Texas, is hereinafter referred to as applicant, designating a certain officials as being responsible for, acting for, and on behalf of the applicant in dealing with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, hereinafter referred to as department, for the purpose of participating in the local park grant program, hereinafter referred to as the program, certifying that the applicant is eligible to receive program assistance, certifying that the applicant matching share is readily available, and dedicating the proposed site for permanent and/or for the term of the lease for leased property, public park, and recreational uses. Council, this is an application for a park grant. I think it's a $300,000 park grant. Is my count here? No. It's a $300,000 park grant that will cost us $150,000. And my understanding is this grant was something that was considered that we might want to do for the things that we put in the 2021 budget. However, those things that we put in for the 2021 budget won't cost us $150,000. So, I'm not so sure this is, I asked Jeff what were we going to do with it at this point in time, and that was his response. He wasn't sure. So I'm not really, not knowing what we actually want to spend this money on specific items, I'm thinking that we might hold off on this item and revisit it before October 1st when it would have to be turned in if the needs comes up. But $150,000 to match is a lot of money, so.
Well, I know Mike Howell was working on this, and Ron had brought it to you all in 2019, and y'all turned it down to go forward with it. And if you all had passed it then, we wouldn't have had to spend the money that we're spending now. And,
I don't know that we turned it down in 2019. I don't remember it ever coming up in time for us to.
yeah, it was, well, I don't know, it was in the minutes, and he asked me to put it on here.
Okay.
So, anyway.
That's where it came from. Okay. I wasn't sure where it even came from, so. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor, can the city of Gun Barrel apply for more than one grant at any one time?
You can apply for as many grants as you want to. However, every grant that you receive changes your score, the scoring process for the availability to receive more grants. So as you get a grant, then your chances of getting the next one that comes along may be lessened. Now, that's what I've always been told, Mr. Foster. We've had pretty good luck in getting our grants that we have gotten. I know the fire chief gets quite a few grants. I know the police department's got quite a few grants. So, but with the Texas Parks and Wildlife, I don't know. I don't remember us exploring a grant with Texas Parks and Wildlife. I remember us talking about it before, but we never got one filed that I remember.
Well, the EDC and the city did in.
That was before my time. Yeah, that was before my time. So, any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to table this until we can get more information. I like the idea of the ability for us to potentially get this money. Anytime we can do it, I'd love to get it. But to the point, we need to know more information before we squander an opportunity, as the way I would look at it. Don't want to say no to it, but I don't know that we really are in a position to say yes and be responsible for that answer at this point.
I agree with that.
Second.
Have a motion and a second from Ms. Mullins. Any further discussion? Motion is to table the item. Vote for my right, please.
Foster, no.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
Motion carries. Item 4, planning and zoning. Now I'll open a public hearing for a request to replat lots 323 and 324 in the Tamarack subdivision belonging to Brian Chevley, physically located at 331 Valley View Street, into one lot, Lot 323R. Is anyone wish to speak on this item? Public hearing is closed. Discuss and/or take action to approve the replatting of lots 323 and 324 in the Tamarack subdivision belonging to Brian Shively, physically located at 331 Valley View Street, into one lot, Lot 323R. May I have a motion?
Make a motion to discuss and/or take action to approve the replatting of lots 323 and 324 in the Tamarack division belonging to Brian Shively, physically located at 331 Valley View Street, into one lot, lot number 323R.
LaRue, second.
Have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Vote from my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Yawns, yes.
Item 4C, public hearing for a request to replat Lot 21R-1 in the Bar H Estates belonging to Doug Lander Company Land Investments LLC into two lots, Lot 21R-1A and Lot 21R-1B. May I have a motion, please?
Public hearing.
Oh, it's public hearing, I'm sorry. Thank you. Anyone here to speak on this? Public hearing is closed. Item 4D, discuss and/or take action to approve the replatting of Lot 21R-1 in the Bar H Estates belonging to Doug Lander and Company Land Investments LLC into two lots, Lot 21R-1A and Lot 21R-1B. Now may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to discuss and/or take action to approve the replatting of Lot 21R-1 in the Bar H Estates belonging to Doug Lander / Go Land Investments LLC into two lots, Lot 21R-1A and 21R-1B.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Thank you. No discussion. Vote from my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Yawns, yes.
Thank you. Item 4E, public hearing for a request to replat lots 33C, 34C, and 35C in the Loom Bay subdivision belonging to Charles and Laurie Ivey, physically located at 2526 West Main Street, into one lot, Lot 33-C1. Public hearing is open. Anyone wish to speak? Public hearing is now closed. Discuss and/or take action to approve the replatting of lots 33C, 34C, and 35C in the Loom Bay subdivision belonging to Charles and Laurie Ivey, physically located at 2526 West Main Street, into one lot, Lot 33C1. I have a motion?
Make a motion to discuss and/or take action to approve the replatting of lots 33C and 34C and 35C in the Loon Bay subdivision belonging to Charles and Laurie Ivey, physically located at 2526 West Main Street, into one lot, 33C1.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, second. Discussion? Vote from my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Yawns, yes.
Item 5F, discuss and/or take action to adopt Order 167 Willowwood and making finding of fact.
You skipped a page.
Did I skip a page?
4G, maybe?
4G, there we go. Turn the page over. Item 4G, public hearing to discuss rezoning TR2, 10.679 acres in the AB 282 West Hockaday Survey, Henderson County, Texas, in the city of Gun City, belonging to Island Development LP, from Townhouse Residential District R-TH to Condominium Residential District CD1. Public hearing is open. Anyone wish to speak? Please go. Introduce yourself if you would, please.
My name is Dan Waitman, one of the owners of this property.
Yes, sir.
We met earlier this month with Planning and Zoning to discuss changing the zoning to condominiums. The zoning doesn't exist for what the buyers of this property want to do. The EDC here had for years the condo / hotel for that property, 6-story multi-story structure, multi-use structure. None of that zoning exists in Gun Barrel. What the buyers are going to want to do is request a new zoning ordinance that will apply to this multi-use property and work with the city for whatever the needs are, fire, et cetera, to make it happen. We've always planned on that, and like I said, we've always represented to people wanting to buy it that the city of Gun Barrel would work with us and help us to achieve a beautiful piece of property out there, a multi-story. You're looking up and down the lake, a high-rise there, not huge, 5 or 6 stories. 7 would be looking up and down the lake for condos, apartments, hotel, whatever they want to do at marina, restaurant. They want to be able to do a multi-use facility and design around that on the 10 acres. And even though we're voting on zoning tonight that the P&Z approved, it's not really what needs to happen. We need to start discussions on a new planning and zoning ordinance to fit that piece of property for them. The buyers are represented here tonight.
Understand, Mr. Wakeman, what's on the agenda, though, is for us to consider the zoning from townhomes to condominium.
I understand.
That's what's on the agenda tonight. Now, I do have an item coming up on 4I, which we would love to talk with you about what can be done on the property, but we need to get past
Okay.
this first step, if you don't mind. Anybody else wish to speak on this? Public hearing is closed. Item 4H, discuss and/or take action to adopt ordinance number O 2021-032, rezoning tract 2, 10.679 acres in the AB Hockaday survey belonging to Island Development LP from Townhouse Residential District to Condominium Residential District. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to discuss and/or take action to adopt ordinance number O-2021-032, rezoning tract 2, the 10.679 acres in the AB Hockaday survey belonging to Island Development LP from Townhouse Residential District, RTH, to Condominium Residential District, CD1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ordinance number O 2021-032, an ordinance of the City of Gunbarrel City, Texas, amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance and map as heretofore amended to grant a change in zoning from Townhouse Residential District to Condominium Residential District for TR2, 10.679 acres in the AB Hockaday survey belonging to Island Development LP, being situated in the City of Gunbarrel City, Henderson County, Texas, providing a severability clause, providing for the repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing a penalty of fine not to exceed the sum of $2,000 for each offense, and providing an effective date. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, vote for my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Yosh, yes.
Item 4I, discussion regarding potential real estate development on property belonging to Island Development LP to include high-rise condominiums and front townhomes not currently allowed by Gunbarrel City ordinance restrictions. This is a discussion item only. Mr. Wakeman, as I understand it, this is the land that is sitting between Tom Finley Park and Vernon's.
It's correct. It's behind Vernon's.
Yep, behind Vernon's. And what we're looking, what your prospective buyers are looking for is to put in condos, like 4 buildings of condos that will be somewhere around 7 stories, 6 stories with a parking garage underneath, I think is what I read. Is that correct?
Yes, they want to be able to design, those are our renderings that you were given, or it's been spread around that you've seen.
Yes, sir.
They want to be able to work under those parameters, under a zoning ordinance. It's a multi-use, high-rise facility, and be able to do marina, restaurant, hotel. They're buying the property to design, and they want to know that they're going to be able to design once they get there.
Understand. And this item's on the agenda tonight because you had come to the city manager and wanted to have a feel for how council felt about this project. And the only way we could really do that, because we don't have exactly what you're doing yet, that would be, at a later stage. But wanted to be able, for the council to be able to ask questions about what this project might entail and what it would be like. So I will open it up to council at this point in time to ask any further questions.
We don't, in fact, have a zoning category for mixed use, but we do have a zoning category for a planned development. And I think that might have the flexibility that you're looking toward. The high-rise would be a completely separate issue. Nothing in our city is allowed to go higher than 35 feet. And that would be a discussion with the fire officials to make sure that they're comfortable with that. But it may be worth looking into a plan development, which is a zoning category we do have.
Okay? How do we achieve the height issue? Can you change the ordinance?
Sorry, go ahead.
I would suggest that the council look at making an ordinance specific to this piece of property. I think this is a good idea. This kind of development is sorely needed in Gun Barrel City. We do not really have any quality condo space here in town. The piece of property there is a good one for that, I believe. And so I would certainly think that the city could talk about a special ordinance for that, for what you're talking about, and I'd be supportive of that.
Okay.
Sir, have you reached out to anyone with the fire department in Gun Barrel City just to discuss?
Yes,
Kind of
we-
understand what their reservations are, or what their feelings may lie?
Their reservations were they were not able at this time to handle that height. We informed them that the developers would help them purchase a piece of equipment to handle the height. You know, there's a truck out there that'll reach up to 108 feet, which exceeds, and they're aware of the price of it, and it's in their budget.
Ms. Mullins, do you have something else you want to say?
I was just going to say that for the height issue, it would probably require a variance, not a completely new ordinance.
Okay.
Zoning category. And a single fire truck would be a wonderful thing, but many times if one truck is out on a call, we call on other cities and communities in the area, and I would want to make sure that the fire officials are comfortable all the way around, not just with the one truck.
These facilities would also have fire systems and stuff. It's not just going to be counting on the fire truck, so.
And that's another thing that would need to be explored, is if there's enough water to support the sprinkler system.
That's working with West Cedar Creek.
That's in place.
We've pretty much figured that out, how it's all going to work.
Good.
If they don't have the water capacity, we're able to design a fire system out of Cedar Creek Lake that can handle it.
With
I've
lake
done it
water.
on several of the estates I've built.
Super. Any further questions?
We can put a pumping station into a vault that will pump umpteen thousand gallons of water a minute to back up the fire system if they need it. Fire hydrants, et cetera, if we need to. And I've worked with Cedar Creek Lake, and we've done that with Tarrant County.
And Tarrant Regional supported that?
Yes. We're not using it. We use it for water features usually, sometimes sprinkler systems, but we set up a system that'll pump hundreds of gallons a minute at 100 PSI of water to back it up. Again, West Cedar Creek's assured us that we can probably achieve fire system without that, but as a backup, there is an alternative, a safe alternative. It would be electrical and generator backed up, so it's not something, it's going to be more safe than city water.
If there's water there.
Yeah, I mean, if the water went down, this thing pumps directly out of the lake in a vault that's well below lake level, and it's generator backed up. If the power goes off, the generator kicks in. So,
Okay. Any further comments or questions, council?
Well, I know you came to the EDC in early 2000 with a project for that island. I don't remember what happened, but I do hope this time it goes through.
yes, it's critical that we can work with them and get them what they need to develop it, to turn it into a beautiful piece of property. I mean, it's one of the last ones on the lake.
Well, from my own perspective, and I don't have a vote, but from my own perspective, I like our 35-foot rule, if you will, for most of the city. However, I think where this property is located at, I don't see where it would impede the view of anyone. I think it would look very nice from the renderings I have seen. You know, and I've learned in my 4 years as mayor that I got to wait until I see the final product before I make comments. But from the renderings I have seen, this would be something that we have longed to ask for, which was something that would knock people's socks off when they came across the bridge and coming into Gun Barrel. It would give you a whole different whole different look to Gun Barrel City. So I think where this piece of property is and for what it will be doing, I think it'd be a worthwhile project, my personal opinion. So any further comments or questions, council? Thank you, Mr. Wakeman. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll get into item 5, unsafe structures. Mr. Wiggins, you still here? There you are. You might as well come on up to the mic. We'll open a public hearing to discuss unsafe structures located at 128 Hidden Valley, Gun Barrel City, Texas. Is there anyone here to speak on that item? Okay. Public hearing's closed. Item 5B, discuss and or take action to determine whether the structure located at 128 Hidden Valley, Gun Barrel City, Texas is considered unsafe. Mr. Wiggins, is this the item that, yes, it is. This is the one that's just recently sold.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Council, this one just recently sold at auction, and the people have already brought their dumpsters out. They're already starting to work on it. I would like for us to table this item, if I can get a motion, if that would be satisfactory to y'all, that we table it.
I'll make a motion that we table the item.
LaRue, second.
Motion is to table. May I have a vote from, any discussion, questions?
Assuming that they bought this to fix it up to live in, is it, what, do you know the status of what they're trying to do with it?
We have yet to have any discussion with the new owners. We've tried, but it just sold, I think, last week.
Oh, gotcha.
That's why I wanted to table it, Mr. Foster, was to give them opportunity to go talk to the new owner and see what they're going to do with it, and then it'll come back up on the agenda in August.
I'd like to make a comment for the public, just to understand that whenever the city takes these actions, outside of this example where there may be a new owner at play, whenever we take any action, it's after exhaustive research and attempts to contact the owner, an owner, somebody who knows who the owner is, anything, to try and encourage them to do what is responsible with the property. And it's been almost every time, there's just no one there. The phone never gets answered, mail never gets returned. And for the sake of what's it cost for us, this is a 100% expense to the citizens. We pay for it and we get nothing back. So if we have the opportunity for a new owner who wants to try and do something with this, we're very happy to see that happen, because that means we don't spend a dime of your money except for this man over here sending letters that don't get answered and making phone calls that don't get answered.
Thank you, Mr. Galston. Could I get the motion amended to table item 5B and 5C, please?
I was just going to suggest that. I'll amend my motion to table both 5B and 5C.
Thank you. Mr. LaRue, you still good with the second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Vote from my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Charles, yes.
Thank you. Item 5D, public hearing to discuss unsafe structure located at 167 Willowwood, Gun Barrel City, Texas. Public hearing is open. Anyone wish to speak? Public hearing is closed. Item 5E, discuss and/or take action to determine whether the structure located at 167 Willowwood, Gun Barrel City, Texas is considered unsafe.
I'd like to make a motion to discuss and/or take action to determine whether the structure located at 167 Willowwood, Gun Barrel City, Texas is considered unsafe.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Mr. Shannon, you want to tell us about this one? I'm looking at the pictures. I don't know if there's much to say.
Not much to say.
Remember, each picture is 1,000 words, so you're
Yeah.
already way down the road here.
Okay, let me do it this way. Council, do you have any questions of Mr. Wiggins?
No.
Mr. Wiggins, any hope of reaching someone who owns this property to take responsibility for it, in your judgment, after all the work you've done?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. LaRue, would you amend your motion to be that the structure is deemed to be unsafe?
I'd like to amend my motion to determine that the structure located at 167 Willowwood, Gun Barrel City, Texas, is definitely considered unsafe.
Thank you. Mr. Yaw, is your second still good?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Vote from our right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Charles, yes.
Item 5F, discuss and/or take action to adopt Order 167 Willowwood, making findings of fact and ordering demolition of structures located at 167 Willowwood, Gunbarrel City, Texas. Order 167 Willowwood, an order making findings of fact, finding certain buildings and structures within the city limits to be dilapidated, substandard, and unfit for human habitation, and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare of the city residents, ordering the buildings and structures be abated, and ordering the demolition thereof. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to discuss and or take action to adopt order, there's no order number, 167 Willowwood, making findings of fact and ordering demolition of structures located at 167 Willowwood, Gun Barrel City, Texas.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Vote from the right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jaws, yes.
Item 5G, public hearing to discuss unsafe structure located at 237 Sunflower, Gun Barrel City, Texas. Public hearing is open. Anyone wish to speak? Yes, ma'am. Should make your way to the microphone. If you would introduce yourself. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rhonda Anderson, and I just became the owner of this property May 17th, 2021. I am going to get that get that house, mobile home torn down and get that lot cleaned off. Well, there's 3 lots cleaned off. That's what I want to do.
Do you have a time frame that you'll have this done in?
Well, in speaking with Mike, he said that he would get some bids in, and then I would just pay. He would do some bids, take the lowest bid, and then I would pay for it.
So you would pay for the demolition?
Yes. So, and he told me it would probably be about the end of the summer before this would take place.
Okay. Mr. Wiggins, are you aware of that? Are you aware that Mike had told her he would get her some bids?
I knew they had some discussions, that exactly what they spoke about, no, sir, but we do send it out for bids. If we order demolition, then we demo it, place a lien, and then it would be your responsibility to pay
Right.
the lien
Right.
at some time.
Gotcha.
That's what he
how I
said.
understood Mike.
That's what he
presented it.
said.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
So if we proceed with the demolition, that won't hurt
I don't-
anything she wants to do?
I think that's
Sorry, I didn't-
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
We proceed,
Planning on demoing the structure that's there, correct?
Okay.
yeah. We proceed, and then you'll end up paying us back for it, or paying
Right.
for it. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, that works.
right.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Correct, Shannon? Mr. Wiggins? Is that correct? I'm sorry. We proceed with the bid process, or is the intent for us to tear it down,
Yes, sir.
and we pay, and then she pays us back? Is that what we're saying?
Or
When
we
we-
just
when
place
we
a
put the lien on it?
Yes, sir. We had a lady in Tamarack, I think you remember, probably last year.
Yep.
She
Did the
still
same thing.
wanted the same thing done.
Did the same thing?
I don't know if she's ever paid, but
Yeah,
we did get it taken care of.
okay, well, all righty. Any further comments? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Public hearing is closed. Discuss and/or take action to determine whether the structure located at 237 Sunflower, Gun Barrel City, Texas is considered unsafe. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we table this.
No?
Okay. We have a motion to table. Do I have a second? Don't have a second. Motion fails. Can I have another motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to declare the structure located at 237 Sunflower as unsafe.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Is that required in order to tear it down, I guess?
Yes, sir. That is correct. Any further discussion? Vote for my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
Item 5I, discuss and take action to adopt Order 237 Sunflower, making findings of fact and ordering demolition of structures located at 237 Sunflower, Gun Barrel City, Texas. Order 237 Sunflower, an order making findings of fact, finding certain buildings and structures within the city limits to be dilapidated, substandard, and unfit for human habitation, and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare of the city's residents, ordering the buildings and structures be abated, and ordering the demolition thereof. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 237 Sunflower, making findings of fact and ordering demolition of structures located at 237 Sunflower, Gun Barrel City, Texas.
LaRue, second.
Discussion? Hearing none, vote for my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
Item 5J, public hearing to discuss unsafe structure located at 241 Sunflower, Gun Barrel City, Texas. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wish to speak? Public hearing is now closed. Item 5K, discuss and/or take action to determine whether the structure located at 241 Sunflower, Gun Barrel City, Texas is considered unsafe.
I'll make a motion to discuss and/or take action to determine whether the structure located at 241 Sunflower, Gun Barrel City, Texas is considered unsafe.
Second.
Motion second. Is there any discussion? Does anybody want to argue this is not safe? Hearing, oh, this is, I'm sorry.
Mr.
That was the
LaRue?
public hearing. I did it again, didn't I?
Oh, no, there was nobody that spoke at the public hearing.
I'm sorry?
Nobody spoke for the public hearing. You closed it.
Oh, I did close it, didn't I? Yeah. I just wrote my notes down in the wrong
I
spot.
was just going to ask Mr. LaRue if he wanted to amend his motion to declare it unsafe.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to amend my motion to declare 241 Sunflower unsafe.
Second.
Motion in second. Any further discussion? Vote for my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Thank you.
Y'all's yes.
Thank you. All right. 5L, discuss and/or take action to adopt Order 241 Sunflower, making findings of fact and ordering demolition of structures located at 241 Sunflower, Gun Barrel City, Texas. Order 241 Sunflower, an order making findings of fact, finding certain buildings and structures within the city limits to be dilapidated, substandard, and unfit for human habitation, and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare of the city's residents, ordering the buildings and structures to be abated, and ordering the demolition thereof. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 241 Sunflower, making findings of fact and ordering demolition of structures located at 241 Sunflower, Gun Barrel City, Texas.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Vote for my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
Thank you. Item 6A, discuss and/or take action to interview applicant for the Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors in open session and consider making an appointment. The only applicant that we have is Mr. Brian Cull. He notified us late this afternoon that he was held up in Dallas. He was trying to get here as quick as he could. I took it upon myself to advise him to slow down and not rush it because we've already interviewed the gentleman a couple of times. And so I felt that we had interviewed him enough to where the council could make a decision. So may I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Brian Call to the EDC Board.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Well,
Is this applicant taking the place of a existing vacancy?
Yes.
Yes. It's taking place of the current vacancy. Ms. Evans, do you have a comment?
I didn't know we had accepted her resignation.
I'm sorry?
I didn't know we had accepted Susan. Did you say Susan
Yes,
resigned?
right. The council doesn't accept resignations.
Oh, I thought it had to be on our agenda.
And the bylaws state that for the EDC that when the secretary receives the resignation, then that's official.
Okay. It's good with me.
Any further questions or comments? Vote for my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
6B, resolved that the city of Gun Barrel City approve and the changes made to the EDC Beautification Redevelopment Grant and the facade grant application to form one unified application to be named EDC renovation grant types A and B. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the changes made to the EDC beautification/redevelopment grant and the facade grant applications to form one unified application to be named the EDC renovation grant types A and B.
LaRue, second.
Have a motion, a second. Discussion?
Can we have our EDC director give us just a
Sure.
quick
Ms. Cooper?
overview?
Excuse me. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have had these two applications going for quite some time. They have had internal changes made to them periodically. And quite frankly, Robin and I were picking up one application that looked different from another one. So we decided they really needed to be revamped, and I felt it was best if we combined them into one grant so that it would be easier for the applicant before they make any kind of a grant application. I meet with them, interview them, and we figure out what would be the best thing for them to do. So on one grant application, it just simplifies it for them. And this one also gives them a little bit more insight into the process regarding the city so that they are encouraged to do everything correctly with the city.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns?
I have a question. You said combine them into one grant or combine them into one application?
Application, sorry. Yes.
Thank you.
One is Grant A, that's the larger one, 25,000 max, and the other is Grant B, which is the 5,000 max, usually used for signs and so on.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Ms. Cooper, do these grants, does the dollar values of these Grant A and Grant B options, are they consistent with previous grant values as we would have approved in the past?
Yes, it is the same.
So there's no change to the values?
There's
It's
no
just
change to the value. No.
Clerical changes more than anything?
Yep.
Thank you.
These grants do not require any information on increase in sales tax or employment opportunities?
No, actually, some of our all of our grants are really only for renovating buildings for the edification of both the city and the business. But some of our grants have no relationship at all to sales tax, like the medical ones, no relation. And this is a grant. This is for building improvements. It doesn't relate to employees, although I will tell you that almost all of these grants have resulted in increased customers and therefore increased employees. So it's very encouraging.
Has the EDC board looked at this and approved it by vote?
Pardon me?
Has the EDC board approved this application?
Yes, we took this to the board the 13th of July.
Any further questions or concern?
Did the board register any opinion about this as far as the discussion?
I don't recall any. Do you, Robin? I don't think so. No, it was passed. I think everyone understood the need for it.
Thank you.
I'll make one comment. I've heard a couple of times folks are, wanting the sales tax revenue potentials, and I'm making this comment because I made that request of Mr. Peterson, and he pointed out to me real quickly that he had no way of checking that number. There's only 3 people that can check the sales tax, and that's the city treasurer, city manager, and the mayor. No one else is allowed to look at what an individual business does in sales tax. So, Mr. Foster, I made that same request just a couple of years ago and found out that there just really wasn't any way to follow up on it. So, for what that's worth. Any further discussion? Vote from my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
Item 6C, resolve that the City of Gunbarrel City support the efforts of Gunbarrel City EDC in applying for a boating infrastructure grant in the amount of $250,000. Ms. Cooper, you want to come back up? Tell me about you.
Mayor and Council, this grant is for work on the lake around Big Chief Landing. And we have received really good support from Miss Hunter in Texas Parks and Wildlife. In fact, I believe she suggested we go for this original grant, which is actually due August 18th. We were planning to do the bigger grants, which come up in October and fund in February, but she suggested we go ahead and do this one as well because it gives us an opportunity for engineering designs and plans and so on with relationship to the project we will be undertaking. Oh, and it has a $50,000 match. So it's $200,000 of funding and a $50,000 match, which will come out of the project.
Council, could I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we support the efforts of the GBC EDC in applying for a boating infrastructure grant in the amount of $250,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, questions or comments?
Ms. Cooper, what would be a brief overview of the work that this would include taking place? What
Pretty
work would
well
this
all
take?
engineering and design plans. Those do not come cheap, especially when you're dealing with all the water issues and so on. So it may not actually result in action, but it could.
Is this for marina or what?
It's just for work on the pier.
Parks and Wildlife is the same agency that we declined to put together a proposal or forward a proposal for the Parks Director. Is that correct?
Sir, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Parks and Wildlife Department?
It is coming from Texas Parks and Wildlife, yes.
Oh, this would have been two proposals to the Parks and Wildlife Department had we approved the first one that we did.
Well, actually, the other one is coming from this city. This application is able to be done by the EDC. There are two types of grants, BIG and BAG. The BIG is a boating infrastructure grant, and the BAG is a boating accessibility grant. We will be going after both of those in the future. They are big, million-dollar grants. But right now, we're just doing this $250,000 one because the others haven't been pulled yet.
And we can do both?
Yes. Now, the EDC cannot do the access grant.
Access,
The city has to apply for that, so that'll be kind of a flow-through. But the infrastructure grant, we can apply for.
Gotcha.
Further questions or concerns? Vote from my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
Motion carries. Item 6D, resolve that the Gun Barrel City EDC approve a grant of $1,650 to Angie Mellorin for a sign for Angie's Salon. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we approve a grant of $1,650 to Angie Mellorin for a sign for Angie's Salon.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Cooper, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, Angie Mallorin's salon, called Angie's Salon, is in the Mid-City Shopping Center, which is owned by a gentleman who lives here in Gun Barrel City and who has several that he keeps up very well. He talked with her about what he had done with the with the renovation grant that we had given him for his shopping center. And on hearing about this, she decided she would like to move her shop from Maybank and come into that center. When she saw it, she was delighted, so she came over, but she has not got a sign yet. It was vacant, and it actually had been a dentist, I believe, that was in it, or some kind of doctor. And the sign was still up. She had the sign taken down. Now she wants to put up her own.
Okay. Council, questions or comments? Hearing none, vote from my right, please.
Foster, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes.
Y'all's yes.
Motion carries. Item 6E, discuss and/or take action to adopt resolution number R 2021-021, approving a loan to David Westerfield in the amount of $200,000 at the rate of 2% for the purchase and renovation of the Browning property owned by the Gumbel City EDC. Resolution R 2021-023, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gumbel City, Texas, approving a loan agreement and project by and between the Gumbel City Economic Development Corporation and W456 LLC, a Texas limited liability company, to provide financial assistance in an amount not to exceed $200,000 for economic development purposes and providing for an immediate effective date. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion and also correct a typo to adopt resolution number R-2021-023.
Thank you.
Approving a loan to David Westerfield in the amount of $200,000 at the rate of 2% for the purchase and renovation of the Browning property owned by the GBC EDC.
Ready, second.
Motion and second. Discussion?
What is the source of the $200,000?
It is a loan.
Along with, is it out of EDC reserves?
Our loans are taken out of our reserves. They are just a balance sheet issue. The repayment is on one side of the balance sheet and the loan is on the other side. And this particular loan for $200,000 will only be, in the end, $68,000 because Mr. Westerfield has to pay us $132,000 upon receiving the proceeds of the loan in order to pay for what we have put into. It is the Browning property. And the Browning property, some of you may be aware, we had to take back as a result of a bad grant.
Further questions or comments?
Well, I do. Jeff's got here that we have to have two separate readings of this resolution. Is this our first or second? And you do have to have two separate readings of a resolution.
This would be the first. Did we read this last month?
I think you approved it. You didn't do it by I don't know if you did it by resolution, but
We
it was
did not do a
read.
resolution
Did not do a
until this
resolution,
time.
okay.
Yes.
So this will
We'll
be the
have
fir-
one more reading at the next meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
So this would be a first reading,
Okay,
and then we'll do the second reading at the next meeting we have.
okay. It's good to me.
Do y'all want to wait till then to approve it, or do you want to go ahead and approve now based on the second reading? That makes me no difference. We've done that in the past too, so.
I'd prefer to wait till the second reading.
Okay. All right. Ms. Mullins, would you amend your motion?
I will amend my motion to accept the first reading and to defer the approval till the next reading.
Second.
A motion and a second. I'm going to go ahead and take a vote on that just to clear it up. Vote for my right, please.
Also, yes.
Mullins, yes.
LaRue, yes.
Evans, yes?
Y'all's yes.
Thank you. Mr. Lawrence, if you would call your EDC Board of Directors into a meeting, we'll then convene into executive session. Yes, sir. Have a quorum. Thank you. We'll convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551-087, deliberations regarding economic development negotiations with YNS Services and Gumbel City EDC. If the EDC and Ms. Cooper will join us, we'll head on back into the boardroom. The time is 7:43 p.m.
slam that in your face. Are you behind me?
Joe, Mr. Lawrence, are we gonna do it up here, so we're on the mics, or, okay, we won't have any mics? Okay. They're gonna hear us, but.
Yeah, I think so. And if not, they can.
We'll read up here.
Let me ask you.
Lady doesn't drink. Oh, Rita's gonna do it?
Yeah?
Not the site. That's exciting. That's gonna be a lot less to run that by Jeff. It accomplishes the safety.
And I mentioned, I was talking to Marty about this, and I mentioned, well, we don't have to pass.
Can you reach it?
Jeff was talking about considered improvement. Embrace it.
It's in the setback, so they can't do anything else.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Cool.
Joey left. It was right.
I think I forgot to do it.
She came and got it. She's gonna bring it back to you.
Good, because I forgot it.
Yeah.
And since this is the first reading,
We will reconvene into open session. The time is 8:25 PM. Burson, Mr. Burson, if you'd like, I apologize again to you, sir. If you would like to speak, please do.
My name's Jay Burson. I'm kind of new in the community. I've been here 2 years, and we looked all over the world, and this is the place we wanted to come to. So what I was just calling in concern was, hang on, let me get. I talked to the EDC before they put it on the market for sale, and was talking to them about, wanting to buy it, and they told me that they were gonna put a park or a convention center. He didn't know. And I said, great, I purchased a property right across the street. But I did come and ask before I did it, which is, it's just a good thing to do. I'm not into stopping growth. I mean, I'm all for it. I've come from a town that, I've seen them wither away if you don't take every opportunity. But my biggest concern is if we go through with this $12 million deal that the Athens paper's saying going in, it was in the Athens paper, I guess yesterday or whenever it was. That little street where I live goes down to turnaround. It's already a traffic problem. And I know whatever development that goes in there is gonna put the air handlers, the trash dumpsters and everything right on the street side, which would be looking right out of my house. So, my concern is the noise, the traffic, and the noise handlers. Because I would think they would want to develop that to keep the lakefront view for whatever is going in there with not being considerate of the people that have lived there and invested all their money to live here at Gun Barrel and just get burned by the side. So my only thing is if y'all do consider this and you're going to vote on it, I would hope that y'all would at least confront some of the neighbors, because we asked about this a couple weeks ago and we were shut out. We were told no information. They said it'll come at a later date. And when that's done, to me, it already sends up a red flag to me that y'all are trying to get something through without asking the neighbors what they think. But I'm just telling you that's how I feel.
I understand.
But the other thing is I have no problem with development, but that street cannot handle traffic as it is right now, the way it's set up. If there's a privacy fence or something along there where I don't have to look at their dumpsters, the air handlers, and whatever they do, I'm all for it, but I've talked to all the neighbors that it would affect, and everybody feels the same way I do. And, I just wanted to voice my opinion.
I appreciate it very much. I will tell you this, because I was on the committee when we first purchased the land, and there was an intent to do one thing with it. That didn't happen, obviously, and it didn't happen for reasons that are immaterial at this point in time. The other thing I will tell you is that the reasoning that you've not been told anything is because there is real estate to be purchased, and we can't discuss things of that nature because it just will blow up prices. And so that's one of the main purposes of us going into executive session. So I can tell you points of fact, okay, and both of those are facts. So I do appreciate your comments. As I said, I was on that original committee and heard those concerns at that point in time. And they haven't changed. That in 2015, they haven't changed since then. I mean, the same things were there. So we are aware of those. I can tell you that. We are fully aware of those and fully work towards meeting the citizens' goals and their needs as well. And we are working that direction. Ms. Cooper, when do you think we will be able to provide more information to the neighborhood?
Actually, it's nice to formally meet you, sir, because I believe you had called me or texted me, and a couple of other people had as well. And I had to apologize and say, I'm sorry, I cannot give you more information. But, as I said, you will be happy with what is happening here. This is going to be an amenity for the community. And we can go public after tonight, after this vote is taken. And we're very happy to meet with you. We don't have definite plans, but we can show you an approximate site plan. In fact, the architect is here right now tonight. And I am sure that you aren't going to have dumpsters up against your homes. We don't work that way.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Okay, at this time, if the EDC would reconvene and take a vote.
It is 8:33 p.m. This special meeting of the Gunbarrel City EDC will come to order. We have established a quorum, and we're talking presently about item 6I on the council agenda, the resolution and the agreement. Do I have a motion regarding that?
I make a motion that we adopt the following pending changes to the performance agreement. Change 6 acres to, with a plan to increase to approximately 8 acres. Note that there is no lien except for a lien from Southside Bank to the EDC, which all members of the partnership are fully aware of. Add a hotel and recreation facility, and change jobs to a minimum of 30 full-time jobs, seasonally adjusted upward.
Thank you, Ms. Merritt. I have a motion to amend or make those modifications to the agreement. Do I have a second? Mr. Johannes, second. Any discussion? We have no discussion because we discussed in there. Vote from Mr. Johannes. Clockwise, please. Lawrence, yes. Motion passes unanimously. It is 8:33. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. We'll do the first reading of the resolution tonight. The resolution number R 2021-025, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, approving a partnership and performance agreement by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and YNS Development Services, LLC, a Texas limited liability company, regarding the development of Big Chief Landing located within the city of Gun Barrel City, Texas. Ms. Cooper, we didn't get an item on the agenda for taking action on the performance agreement. We just have an item on the agenda for the first reading. So that's all we're going to be able to do. We'll have a special meeting soon, and we'll do the second reading and get the performance agreement approved at that point in time. I'm sorry, but that's not on the agenda. Don't know why. Okay. At that point in time, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
We are adjourned.